So, why do we hold ourselves back from success? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast today. It's interesting how we do this. And sometimes we set such a high standard for ourselves that we don't even begin, we don't try. I've been guilty of this. Today's guest, Dr. Keira Barr, is a speaker, author, and physician who helps women embrace confidence and courage over all that other crap we fill our heads with, like self-doubt. You know what I'm talking about. And you also know, if you've listened to this podcast for some time, that I'm really big on mindset. It's one of the pillars of my business and this podcast. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to this interview and start with making changes today. Dr. Keira Barr joins me now, and we have so much in common. I think we could talk for hours. We started doing this, and I realized we weren't recording yet. So let's get the interview started. Dr. Barr, why is it that we cut ourselves down and that we don't necessarily give ourselves enough to be successful? And I know you have transitioned in your life from practicing every day as a dermatologist in helping women. So why do we do that to ourselves?
Oh, let's count the ways. I mean, we are conditioned to do so. If you just think about like my background in dermatology, right? It's focusing on the surface, but really going beneath the surface. And you think about like beauty and skin and the greater picture of the beauty industry and social norms. Like, especially as women, we've been led to believe that our skin and our appearance is something to be nipped, tucked, covered up, camouflaged. And like, how are we not supposed to feel like we're not judging ourselves because other people are already judging us? So it's hard not to cut ourselves down.
And we tell ourselves like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to worry about that. But then, I worked in television for nearly 30 years. And no matter what I did, someone was criticizing on television, like, are you tired today? Or what's wrong with your makeup or whatever. So our world has conditioned us to do that. But let's talk about that self-confidence and that love and the way that you help women in particular regain that.
Yeah, I think it's so, it's the work I do because it's also what I need. I am in the fray just like everybody else. And I think it really boils down to one of the most potent ways is to treat ourselves with compassion, kindness, and love. And that's one of the things that one of my colleagues and mentors shared with me, a beautiful question. It's like, what would feel like love? What would feel like love when it comes to nourishing ourselves, like not just with the food that we eat, but how we move our body? Who do we spend time with? We were talking about careers. What would feel aligned and good versus making us feel completely burned out? And I think most of us don't ever ask ourselves that question. And it can be incredibly powerful to do that. And it goes a little bit further too, because not just asking what would feel like love in this moment, but to do things with love. And it's an acronym that actually stands for L is for to listen to yourself, to listen in on your thoughts. Most of the time we are having thoughts that are incredibly critical, but it's this hum that's constant that we're not paying attention to. And we just think it's our truth. And the O is to observe how it feels in our body when we have those thoughts and to actually then be able to vocalize what that actually feels like. Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it disappointment? Is it joy? And then the E is to be able to embrace what you feel without judging it, because we're so good at judging, but just note it, like, it's just there. It's just what it is. And then to be able to take some deep breaths. I teach breathing techniques with my clients as well, but just to breathe through it with ease. And you can do that throughout the day. So it's like, what would feel like love and how do you do it with love? I think those are the most powerful things to kind of regain our sense of agency and authority over what's happening.
I just have to say that as I know we're about the same age and we both work with women about this age, and taking the time when you're worried about, did my kid take their lunch to school? And, I'm trying to keep up with work and just get enough sleep, like actually taking the time to listen to yourself, not just everyone else, is hard for people who are busy. So to do those 4 things and to take that time, we hear so much. Is it just me, or do we hear a lot about self-care today and why it's so important?
Yes. And I'm also one of those people, like, so I just gave that, like, rattled that off, right? And someone listening, literally would be like, I don't have time to do
Time for
like,
that.
I don't like, you just added one more thing onto my to-do list. You like, I don't know if this is easy or not, but like,
Right. Does that mean I have to get up 10 minutes earlier because I need
no,
those
right.
10
No,
minutes?
and that's the thing. Like, yes, there is so much about self-care. And I think there's a whole business and industry about it. And it can feel very overwhelming. But self-care literally is even just noticing how you're breathing. Most of us, when we're stressed out and anxious, we may not even realize that we're holding our breath. And you breathe automatically, but it also can be brought under your voluntary control. So it's not something that you have to add onto your to-do list. You're already doing it. Self-care could be as simple as like, am I breathing? How am I breathing? Is it shallow? Is it, can I deepen that a little bit? Can I slow it down a little bit? And you can be doing this while you're standing in line at the grocery store or driving in your car. Like, so simple, but it's literally just giving yourself permission to focus inwards. Where so many of us, especially as professionals, as moms, as caregivers, we tend to focus outward. And then we're depleted, exhausted, and stressed out. And I assure you that shows up on your skin in so many different ways.
Well, I did it just now while you were talking. I'm like, wait a minute, just to stop and feel your breath with your hand to your heart, to take that deep breath. I'm usually too busy multitasking. Like I literally, while I'm driving, I'm making a to-do list while I'm, instead of taking those moments and to start that habit. I love that. But let's go back to the skin, because
Yes.
I find it so fascinating that as a dermatologist, practicing dermatology, you went through medical school, did all of this, you started seeing the stress on your client's skin. And I want to hear more about that, because we're always trying to cover up, right? Like I
Yeah.
turned 50 this year, so I got plenty to cover up. But really, the best thing I ever did for myself was to change careers, to get off of that grind in the morning news and to realize that that stress was not serving me or my family, and to put my passion into something else. So I just went into me, but I want to hear more about how you made that transition.
Yeah. But sharing your story highlights this point so well. So I started focusing on client stress because I, like you, had my own situation. My own skin was changing. So I didn't appreciate how stress was impacting my life. I was go, go, go in academics, juggling career and kids. And I had gotten a lot of sun exposure. As a young person, my dad was a redhead. I thought, I'm a brunette. I can get tan. I couldn't. I burned. I have tons of moles.
I come from the baby oil and
Yes.
Crisco on I mean, I am just like, I cannot
Reflector.
believe we did that when we were young. Yeah. So sorry, I just admitted that to a dermatologist, in fact.
No. I was right there with you, right there with you. And so my moles started changing. So they became darker, more asymmetric. So we always talk about the ABCDEFs of moles and melanoma, the most deadly skin cancer. And so my own skin was changing. My own nevi were changing. I was just getting them biopsied. And as a dermatologist, dermatopathologist, I'm also the one looking at the cells underneath the microscope, watching my own skin get more and more atypical with every passing year. And then ultimately there was that one spot on my arm. And this is at the height of I'm running ultra marathons. I'm thinking I'm killing it at work and eating well, wearing my sunscreen, all, but this particular spot, I had a diagnosis, early melanoma. My skin was shouting that the stress of not loving your job, over exercising, not being aligned, burning myself out was showing up as cancer. And then it snowballed into hormonal imbalances and gut dysbiosis and all the things. And so stress can manifest itself in so many different ways. And when it comes to the skin specifically, stress creates a cascade of challenges. It suppresses your immune system. Stress does. Your primary stress hormone, cortisol, sends signals all throughout the body, shifts things in so many different ways. And so it can suppress your immune system. So those individuals who have autoimmune conditions may notice they flare. Things like psoriasis, eczema will flare, acne, cortisol, that stress hormone loves to stimulate your oil gland. So when you're stressed out, if you notice you're breaking out more, there's a good reason for it. Hair loss. So people may notice that their hair starts to fall out, and it's usually not at the time of the stressful event. Like some people will notice it's 3 to 6 months down the road from when they had a significant, like a divorce or a death in the family, a car accident. They're moving, a new job, things that sometimes are significant stressors, but some that they're like, oh, I just had a really bad, I had the flu or something. The stress can shift. Your hair grows in 3 different cycles: a resting phase, growing out phase, and a falling out phase. So it can shift from the growing phase to the falling out phase very quickly, but that takes several months for that shift to happen. I mean, there's fine lines. So cortisol, okay. I feel like I could talk for hours. Ladies, I'm in the same age bracket as you, right? Fine lines, wrinkles, we're noticing hyperpigmentation, things that we're thinking we need to nip and tuck and do all the things. Getting your stress under control is one of the greatest aging gracefully secrets you ever encounter, because cortisol not only breaks down the collagen and elastin that gives your skin that youthful, plump appearance, it prevents repair. So it is in your best interest to learn how to work with the stress in your life and make it work for you, because we can't get rid of stress. We're still living in a—
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Right.
How to regulate your nervous system to shift out of that go, 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 like fight or flight mode into more of that rest and relaxation mode.
What makes me laugh with this is we're conditioned, and marketers are really smart. They spend a lot of money on this to say, if I work harder, I can make more money and I can buy really expensive products to put on my wrinkles and cover up and all of that. And we're just running this vicious cycle instead of, I'm a big believer in let's get to the core of it. Let's figure it out instead of covering it up or more medications or anything like that. Let's understand our nervous system and our stress. And I love it that you connected those two things as a dermatologist. I can only imagine people would come into your office and you could see the stress on their skin before they even identified or said anything to you about their personal life.
100%. And this is what
work life. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Or there, yeah. So many things. And this is what I love about this specialty. Even though I'm not actively in a clinic anymore, I now teach people how to use their own skin and empower them to use what they see as an opportunity to take control of the things they control, like their diet and lifestyle and their stress response. Because what shows up on your skin is a window to and a reflection of your overall health and well-being. And you can use your skin as a roadmap. Like you're noticing, especially women or those who are going through menopause, right? People who go through menopause, their hormones are shifting and they may notice that they're gaining weight around the middle. A lot of this does have to do with declining progesterone and estrogen and your androgens, but a lot of it is blood sugar dysregulation and your stress response. And
really? So the gaining of weight in certain areas has to do with stress as well.
Yes.
Wow.
So when your body feels like it is under attack, whether you're dealing with ongoing world issues or, so it's in some ways it's an indirect threat versus a direct threat. Someone cut you off on the highway and your system is in fight, flight, or freeze mode. But when it is kind of a chronic scenario where your nervous system is always on survival mode, your body then mobilizes the resources it thinks it needs, like your blood sugar, like glucose, to, get your muscles and your heart and your lungs ready to get out of harm's way. If your body's not using that fuel, it's going to essentially redeposit itself around your weight line. Same thing with not prioritizing sleep. This is why that cliche of beauty sleep, it is real.
It's true.
Our body rejuvenates and repairs, and especially your skin repairs at night. So many little simple things that we actually can do when we can't control what's happening outside of our own world. Like we cannot control what's happening right now with anything outside of ourselves, but there are so many things that we can take control of, realize our own agency and authority over our health and well-being, that are really simple, that don't add a lot to your to-do list, just like you did with putting your hand on your heart. That is one of the greatest things you can do, this soothing self-touch. This is part of the self-compassion practice. Our body has such wisdom, and just putting your own hand there and letting yourself know, like, you're okay. Things may be a little nutty outside your 4 walls, but like right now with your hand on your chest, you are breathing. You can create safety and a sense of groundedness for yourself at any time, anywhere, even in a room full of people. that soothing self-touch can be an instant reset for your nervous system.
Yeah, I just did it again. And I want to encourage anyone who doesn't do this regularly to make it a habit, because it is a habit. It's one of those things that if you do it regularly, you have to start at certain times. Like I've noticed I've started to do this, and I hope my family has noticed this. I haven't actually told them. When we sit down at the table, before we eat, before we pray, I take this deep breath to just reset, and it just centers my mind. It's probably the one time a day I know I do that, but to do it more regularly, either in the car, before you walk into work, or whatever that is, I take a deep belly breath. Is that what you would recommend too?
Absolutely. And like
Yeah.
in through your nose and out through your mouth, like,
Yes.
2 to 3 breaths really is a reset. And it's so beautiful that you innately knew to do that before mealtime, because that's one of the most important times to get your body into that kind of rest and relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually get the benefit of all the nutrients that you're going to consume. Because when we're in stress mode, digestion shuts down. Like you don't need to eat when you're getting chased by a tiger. No. So like blood flow is diverting from your gut. So when we're eating standing up or rushing through things, your body doesn't know the difference, whether it's actually being chased by the tiger or not. So giving yourself that moment to kind of prepare for the meal is actually one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, so that you can really get the nourishment that you need. And so, yeah, I have a whole chapter about that, how to, like, the approach and the plan and everything for eating in my book, The Skin Whisperer. But it's something I also teach my clients, because they're all worried about, I've gained weight, I want to lose weight. And I'm like, I can help you lose a ton of weight. A lot of it is emotional and mental weight too. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
that's where we overeat and we overindulge, because we're trying to numb out our stress, which is no blame, no shame about that. We all have that tendency, but there's ways to work through that. But I will never give anyone a diet plan. You don't need
Yeah.
it. Your body
Yeah.
innately knows. And when you can really slow down and listen in, right, with love, approach yourself with love, then eating like and losing weight becomes like effortless.
Right. That's not the goal. It's about being happy and healthy and grounded and all of those things. Yeah. Okay. So I want you to tell people where they can find more, because I know you have so much more that you can teach them. And then I want you to leave us with a tip that people can do aside from what we've just talked about, this breathing, something else they can do right now to help themselves.
Yeah. So I don't know if they can literally do it right now, but I think one of the most powerful things, some of us are not in a headspace where we can just sit and breathe. And they're probably like, Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's not going to work for me. I've tried meditating. I'm not going to move your body, like
Mm-hmm.
literally a dance party in your kitchen. I lead people through a more extended practice with like good rationale and all of that. Like it's evidence-based science behind it, but literally you can just put on a song, 30 seconds, and just move your body, shake your booty, starting from your feet upward. It's like when we look at our pets, if you just look to our pets for an example, when they're scared, what do? They shake it off, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then they're back to normal. So like hands on, I do this with my kids. I do it with like everybody, and instantaneously they feel so much better. So even if you're sitting in your car listening to us, like crank it up, you're sitting in traffic, road rage, like just like find a good song and like move your body. And
Yeah, it does amazing things. Breathing and moving do
yeah,
amazing things, right?
so true. And you don't have to add it to your to-do list, literally just put something on.
Yeah. Yeah. Where can people find you? Online, social media? Give us the
Yeah.
details.
So my website is drkeirabarr.com, and it's KeiraBarr. And on social, it's at Dr. Keira Barr. So those are probably the best places. I'm not always as active on Instagram, but there's some good resources there, some articles, especially about stress and skin. So
Wonderful. I love what you're doing. We have so much in common, like I said before. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
you too.